The eyes of the world were on Rome this past Sunday. Pope Leo XIV, in the early days of his papacy, delivered his first Sunday address. From the balcony overlooking St. Peter's Square, his words resonated with hope and urgency. The newly elected pontiff, the first from the United States, called for peace in a world determined to tear itself apart. Leo's address was a plea to all of humanity, a call for compassion and understanding. He spoke of the conflicts in Gaza and Ukraine, urging an end to the bloodshed. His words, delivered with calm, yet carrying the weight of his new office, contrasted the chaos plaguing the world. He reminded the world that behind the headlines were real human lives being torn apart. Leo's election sent shockwaves through the Catholic world, signaling the Church's evolution. His message transcended nationality, offering a powerful reminder of our shared humanity. The conflict in Gaza was at the forefront of the Pope's mind. He called for an immediate ceasefire, urging both sides to return to the negotiating table. The plight of innocent civilians weighed heavily on his heart, imploring the international community to alleviate their suffering. The war in Ukraine also featured prominently in his address. Leo spoke of the senseless loss of life and displacement of millions, calling for a just and lasting peace. The recent ceasefire between India and Pakistan was met with cautious optimism by the Pope. He congratulated both nations, expressing hope for a more lasting agreement. His words offered a beacon of hope, reminding that peace is always possible. He condemned all forms of violence and hatred, arguing that true peace could only be achieved through dialogue, respect, and compassion. Many have drawn comparisons between Pope Leo XIV and his predecessor Pope Francis. Both are known for their humility, compassion for the marginalized, and commitment to peace. Leo has spoken of his deep admiration for Francis, echoing many of his themes. However, there are key differences. Leo is seen as more moderate in temperament. His background as a scholar and theologian is evident in his carefully chosen words. Despite differences, Leo intends to build on Francis's legacy, seeing the Church as a force for good. His first address was a powerful call to action for all, offering hope in uncertain times. The fact that Pope Leo XIV is the first American pope is significant. It speaks to the growing diversity of the Catholic Church and has raised the profile of the papacy in the United States. Yet, Leo's message is universal, resonating with people of all faiths and backgrounds. In the US, his election has been met with excitement and apprehension. Some see it as a sign of the Church's relevance, while others worry about politicization. The global reaction to Leo's address has been largely positive, with world leaders praising his calls for peace. His message of hope and compassion struck a chord at a time when the world seeks leadership. The true test of Leo's papacy will be translating his words into action. Can he use his moral authority to bring about real change and heal divisions? These questions will define his legacy. Pope Leo XIV's first Sunday address was more than just a speech. It was a statement of intent, a declaration of his vision for the Church and the world. As the leader of 1.4 billion Catholics, he carries a heavy burden of responsibility. His words have the power to inspire and heal, but also to divide. The papacy is both deeply traditional and constantly evolving, a spiritual and political force. Navigating this role is no easy task, but Leo's first address shows he is up to the challenge. His papacy began with a Mass in the Sistine Chapel, steeped in tradition. Yet Leo himself symbolizes change, showing the Church's willingness to embrace the future. As he embarks on his papacy, the world will be watching, scrutinizing his every word and action. If he remains true to his message of peace, hope, and compassion, he has the potential to make a real difference in the world.